Hello, I'm David Rose, and here's a look at some of the top cases we're working on with Crime Stoppers and Washington's Most Wanted, starting with a parking garage car prowler caught on camera diving into the back of a pickup truck. Now, she's one part of a whole slew of property crime crooks that Bainbridge Island Police are hoping you can help identify.
This just goes to show to what extent some of these criminals are going through to get the stuff out of the car. They'll physically go in the vehicle, some of these larger vehicles, to get what they need.
Bainbridge Island Police Detective Eric Peffer says crooks like these 6 suspects have already pulled more than a dozen crimes like car prowl, mail theft, and burglary since the start of this year. Let's focus on the crook seen walking out of a Safeway. This guy kind of looks like one of those vampires in a Wesley Snipes Blade movie. Just ghastly and walking with a serious hitch in his step. Check it out from behind. It's his right leg that has a limp to it. Here's another shot of him coming into another store where detectives say he used a stolen credit card to load up his cart. Now, that card he used was taken from a woman's car while it sat parked in the driveway of her home. Talk about feeling violated. Clancy Jacobson is a single mom and school teacher. Her son forgot to lock the door, and she forgot to take out her purse. She also had her driver's license, gift cards, and cash stolen. But what she lost most of all is her sense of security.
I worry about just more repercussions from this because the person has all of my information. So I feel, like I said, my security's kind of been messed with, and just being able to feel comfortable being at your own home and feeling safe, that's gone right now.
Well, another surveillance video shows an unidentified suspect in a separate case using stolen credit cards to purchase Visa gift cards. Note the orange jacket that he's wearing. And then there's this shot of a mail theft suspect walking into a Walmart. She's holding a manila envelope the detectives say is actually stolen mail from a home. Detectives say tax season is a prime time for mail theft. So now is the time for all of us to be vigilant.
Well, it's just good for the community to know to keep your car doors locked, keep your mailboxes secured if you can. If you can get a locking mailbox, that'd be great. Lock the doors on your homes, on your storage units, and just keep your personal belongings out of these places too. Keep them with you inside your house where they're safe.
He's hoping you can help identify suspects like that woman who hopped into the back of that pickup truck in a parking garage. Lady, that's not your truck. And here, this guy was with her. She wasn't alone. He's wearing that black puffy jacket, using a cart to push their stolen loot to their car that was parked in another area. A different camera angle showed him going out the door where he didn't have his hat on. So let me give you another look at all of the suspects. This is like a Twisted Family album. Do you recognize any of them? Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound is offering a cash reward of up to $1,000 if you have information that leads to an arrest. You can call 1-800-222-TIPS, or even easier, download the P3 Tips app to your cell phone. It's free. Submit information, photos, links to Facebook pages, anything you have on these suspects. It's anonymous. And get that cash reward. Well, this Valentine's Day weekend, I sure hope you didn't buy any perfume or beauty supplies for the love of your life from this guy. He is a prolific retail theft suspect, and Lakewood Police are hoping you know his name. Detectives say he has stolen $17,000 worth of items, hitting the same type of beauty stores over and over again.
What we have is a guy who's committing a series of thefts. This has been going on since October of last year, and he's hit 10 different locations as far north as Everett and as far south as Lakewood or Puyallup is the furthest south that he's gone. And he's always choosing the Ulta Beauty Cosmetics stores. And he's doing the same thing every time. He comes in, grabs one of their bags, fills it up with expensive fragrances, and just runs out of the door. And he's probably taken, according to the investigator, somewhere in the neighborhood of about $17,000 worth of fragrances or cosmetics, things that are coming out of these stores.
Well, you can see the Apple AirPods he wears during some of the thefts. Detectives say he's been seen in a burgundy-colored Buick SUV with a big sticker on the back window that says clergy. He's also driven off in a red Nissan Rogue. So if you know his name and you can tell Lakewood Police who he is or where to find him, submit that tip to Crime Stoppers of Tacoma-Pierce County through the P3 Tips app on your cell phone or call the hotline. There is a cash reward of up to $1,000 if that information leads to his arrest. Tonight, Seattle police are asking for your help to identify a suspect who terrified a pharmacy employee when he threatened her with a knife. Detectives believe this guy had a lookout working with him. Now, the suspect came into the Walgreens on Lake City Way at about 7:45 p.m. on November 7th. He milled around the store for a bit and then watch as he hits his stride at the end of an aisle next to the pharmacy, and he vaults over the counter. Then he pulls a 5-inch knife and starts demanding the drugs. Well, he's out of luck because the narcotics he wants are in a time-locked safe. That's a big roadblock these pharmacy robbers are running into more and more as drugstores boost their security. Well, this chump loses his patience, springs back over the counter, and he runs off empty-handed. But take a good look at this guy in the blue hoodie hanging out by the front door as the suspect runs out. Detectives say this guy on the left in the blue hoodie is likely an accomplice, so they're asking for your help to identify him as well.
So we think they're connected. Take a good look at their faces. We need to know who they are. But what disturbs me is the fact he's not afraid to brandish that knife. He's pointing at the victim in this case, yelling at her. She's very upset, and we're fortunate that she didn't get stabbed.
Detectives say the robbery suspect had dreadlocks and stood about 5 feet 8 inches tall. He had a purple Nike backpack. If you recognize either of these guys, submit an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound through the P3 Tips app or call the hotline. There is a cash reward of up to $1,000 if you have any information that can lead to their arrest. Now, 2 terrifying takeover-style robberies in neighboring cities within 2 weeks. Take a look at this surveillance video as one suspect fires shots at an ATM as he leaves the store. Here's a look at the bullet holes he left behind. Well, now, police in Yakima and Union Gap are working to identify 9 suspects in all. Some of them could be involved in both robberies. The victims are marijuana shops who've never been robbed before, and along come a bunch of dirtbags pointing guns at hard-working employees. So tonight, the owner of each shop is offering a $10,000 reward to anyone who can help identify and catch these criminals. Watch as 4 suspects stroll up to Station 420 on Main Street in Union Gap. It's about 8:30 p.m. on Monday, January 27th, when they barge in the door wearing masks and latex gloves, holding 2 employees and a customer at gunpoint.
They were in and out of here in 42 seconds.
But the chaos and damage they did during that robbery closed Adam Marcus's store for a day. Watch as one suspect jumps the counter. They order the clerks to get on the floor. And you can see the suspect in the plaid shirt putting glass jars of marijuana like this one into a bag. A second suspect joins him and starts grabbing jars by the handful, knocking many of them on top of the employee who is covering his head to protect himself.
What they didn't steal out of the case, most of it ended up broken on the floor.
To stoop even lower, the suspect in the red and black jacket with the silver handgun even robs the customer before all of them race back outside and head west from the direction they came.
When you come in and you're waving a pistol around and you came in as aggressively as what these people came in, sooner or later, somebody's going to get hurt.
They're definitely dangerous. They were definitely armed.
Detective Curtis Santucci with Union Gap Police says this is the first pot shop robbery they've ever had, and he wants it to be the last. He's following up on several clues, including this hat the suspect in plaid was wearing. It says Clip-On. That's a company that makes horticultural fasteners and ties for gardens and orchards. The suspect dropped that hat when he ran from the store, a shop that has multiple cameras with video that could help identify these suspects.
I want the public to look at that and see if maybe they're walking like somebody they know. When I send out the still photos, you look at the clothing, you look at the shoes, you look at it, but you can only see just the still photo. So seeing the video, you can see how people walk, and so I want people to look at that.
The armed robbery has left employees tense, worried that the suspects could return, something their boss is taking very seriously.
You know, the way I look at this is it's an personal assault on me and my staff. And I am willing to do whatever I can to try to bring these people to justice, up into and including a $10,000 reward for the arrest of the individuals that are responsible for this.
Police think the suspects may be part of the group who robbed the Slow Burn marijuana shop on North 40th Avenue in Yakima 2 weeks later, on Sunday, February 9th.
We do believe that that there are some similarities that we're looking into.
Major Crimes Detective Drew Shaw with the Yakima Police Department says this kind of takeover-style robbery is rare. This time, there were 5 suspects, 2 of them armed with handguns.
They immediately overcame the employees and a couple of patrons that were inside.
The video shows one suspect wearing a 49ers jacket. And then there's this one in the long coat that looks like they've got so many layers on they can hardly walk. Their sheer aggressiveness is concerning. Watch as one guy tries to break the glass on a cabinet. Just doesn't have enough kick. And after loading up several bags with marijuana along with the cash from the register, they leave.
They fled the same way that they came in, and as they were fleeing, one of these suspects did, for an unknown reason, just discharge the firearm inside the business, which obviously scared all those that were involved.
Just to give you an idea of the danger these criminals pose, the suspects, as they ran from the marijuana shop, started firing into the glass at a Subway shop next to the marijuana store. You can see the hearts covering the bullet holes here. Now, fortunately, Subway was closed at that time, but this just gives you an idea of the scum detectives are trying to identify.
It just makes you heartsick to see your staff have to go through that kind of BS to just earn a living.
Ken Weaver co-owns the Slow Burn, and he's heated about what happened here. So he's also offering a $10,000 reward to anybody who can help Yakima Police catch these suspects.
When we've got armed robbers running around here, our whole community suffers. I'm a lifetime Yakima resident. I've invested my heart and soul in this community. And people like this just drag your entire community down, drags everybody down.
I get goosebumps here thinking about these guys running around out there.
With the generous rewards now being offered by the owners of both stores, detectives are hoping it motivates somebody to come forward.
The leads that have come in, you know, they're pretty vague. So those who are giving out leads to actually step forward and actually speak to me would be real big. I would love nothing more than to bring these people and put them in jail.
So if you want that huge $10,000 cash reward, contact Union Gap Police Detective Curtis Santucci at 509-249-9237 or through his email, which you can see there on the screen. You can also contact Yakima Police Detective Drew Shaw at 509-576-6791 or via his email. We'll put this information on our website, catchwmw.com. Now, with this much money being offered by the victims, detectives need to speak with you, and they can keep you anonymous. Now, I should mention that if you can identify a suspect who took part in both robberies and they get arrested, the store owners say they will each pay you, so you will pocket $20,000. You can always submit a tip on these robberies or any other felony crime to Yakima County Crime Stoppers, but to be very clear, they are not involved in the rewards being offered in these marijuana store robberies. Now, tonight, Seattle Police want you to look at these photos that show a robbery suspect at a CVS pharmacy in the U District and his getaway ride. That's a silver vehicle, which is similar to a Toyota Camry. Detectives say he jumped the counter on January 24th and threatened to shoot the pharmacist if she didn't cooperate.
He states he has a gun. He continues to use that verbiage to the clerk on duty. She's panicked. He forces her to open 3 safes. He took a lot of hard narcotics and so forth, loaded them in a bag that he brought with him. He vaults out of the counter. He runs out the door and he gets into a getaway car. It's described as kind of a silver sedan. We know that the suspect's not the driver because when he ran out and got in the vehicle, he actually got in the passenger door, which means somebody, an accomplice, is driving that vehicle. He's looking for pharmacies that have limited staff on hand.
That's exactly what happened back on December 15th, when detectives believe this same guy jumped the counter at a CVS pharmacy in South Lake Union and demanded promethazine cough syrup from the lone employee on duty. Now, the suspect appears to be wearing the same clothes, blue latex gloves, and shoes with a white sole. He's in his 20s, 5'7" to 5'9" tall. If you have any information on his identity or where to find that silver getaway car or identify the driver, again, it's similar to a Toyota Camry, submit an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound at p3tips.com through the P3 Tips app or call 1-800-222-TIPS. You will get a cash reward of up to $1,000 if that tip leads to an arrest. That's a look at some of the cases that police need your help with this weekend. I got a whole bunch more to show you, so join me for Washington's Most Wanted. Tonight at 11 o'clock on Q13 Fox. It also runs earlier tomorrow night, Saturday, 9:30 on Joe TV, 10:30 on Q13, and 10:30 p.m. on Fox television stations in Yakima, Spokane, and the Tri-Cities. Let's make sure all of these sticky-fingered low-life crooks have nowhere left to hide.